Hello, colleagues. We're just waiting for a few more people to join us. I think maybe we still got a few more minutes before it's exactly 3 o'clock. I know that there are other people still joining, even though they're not here now. But thank you, Nasla Kenneth and Nijong Violet, for joining us for now. Maybe you could introduce yourself, Nasla and Nijong. Are you from Southwest, Northwest? Which communes are you from? Maybe you could add that in the chat function. Colleagues, I think we're just waiting for a little bit more time until a few more colleagues join us. I can see that we have a few communes that are now joining us. It would be great if you could add in the chat function which commune you're from, your name, and also what your function is, whether you're the mayor, whether you're the civil registrar. It would be great to get to know you. As it's already 3 o'clock, maybe I give the word to Alexi Mayang from UNICEF, Senior Child Protection Expert, to give us just a few logistics before we jump into the session. I'm not sure whether Madam Effa is still going to be able to join us today from Bunek, because she joined us in the French one, in the French session just 2 hours ago. But I give you the word, Alexi, now, and then you can explain where we're at. Over to you, Alexi.
If UNICEF in Yaoundé. I welcome all the participants to this session aimed at sharing information on how to develop and implement birth registration microplans. So just some information regarding the protocols for our meeting. Please, I know that all of us, we are busy, but let's keep microphones muted unless speaking in order to minimize the background noise. And if you want to take the floor, use the raise hand feature to indicate questions or requests that you may have. And there is, if you want also to intervene, you can use the chat box for comments, questions during the presentation. If, yes, I talk about it already, if you can share your name, a title, it is me, I will talk about it. Your name, title, function, your municipalities, it will be very helpful to let others know you. This is this session is very important for us, and it will be an interactive session. So that session is designed to improve birth registration at the municipality level. So it is our collective responsibility as stakeholders in advancing civil registration at the communal level. So once more, welcome. And Mia, over to you.
Thanks, Alexi, for that introduction. I'm just not sure if Madam Effa, Alexi, will be speaking today as well from BUNEC, or whether it would be better if she's not available, because I'm assuming she's not.
I think she's not.
Okay, that's okay. Then maybe I can give the word already then to Juliette Henny, the Deputy Representative from UNICEF, to welcome everybody and to give an overview of the objectives of the session. Just so that everybody knows, Mindevel would have loved to have been present, but as you know, they're actually in the National Assembly at the moment with the law reforms, so they were unable to attend, but they are partners with us for this form of training. Also, BUNEC, Madame Effa, also participated, but in the French session. And so it is an initiative that has government support. It is something that we are working with them very closely. But unfortunately, because of these other constraints with the National Assembly and this new law, they were unable to attend today. So over to you, Juliette, to speak on behalf of UNICEF.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much, Mia, and good afternoon to everyone. Really pleased to be here with you, and that you're making the time for this important training. As you know, the challenge is out there to really register most children, as many children as possible at birth, and also to catch up those who haven't had the chance to get their birth certificate. So you have a key role to play, of course, as the municipality. So we're really looking forward to giving you today in this training the tools to develop a micro plan. Of course, these micro plans also are closely linked to your development plans that you already have. And it's also important to look at how you will be budgeting, how on the long term, actually, you're going to include these activities around birth registration into your development frameworks. So this is what we are going to do today in terms of the objectives of the training. Of course, also, you know better than me also the role of the mayors in birth registration. So really to highlight also all the potential we have in working everyone together to boost the birth registration. So lastly, you know that we have a challenge out there, which actually has one of the indicators is to set up a micro plan. So this is also giving you a lot of points if you have set it up. So also join us in this challenge to put in place your microplan. So thank you so much for your engagement and wishing you a very productive training session.
Thanks for that, Juliette. As Juliette has explained, the role of mayors is extremely important. They are the ones that are doing the hard work. Over to you, Alexi.
Okay, thank you. We have the agenda on the screen. We are going to listen to our guest speakers who will in turn session 3, and we have a step-by-step guide to developing a micro plan. After that session, we have a plenary on identifying local strategies and resources. And on session 5, we deal with how to integrate microplans into the communal plan and budgets. And before the closing and next steps session, we have the question and answer. The session, as I was saying, will range from 15 minutes to 20 minutes. And our main guest speakers will be Casimira Bench from UNICEF. Mia Dambashu is the main organizer of this virtual training. We have from Chile and Paul from UNICEF Social Policy Head of Section. So over to you, Mia.
Thanks, Alexi, for that introduction in terms of the agenda for today. I'm now handing the time over to Casimira Bench, Chief of Child Protection at UNICEF, to explain an overview of what a birth registration microplan is, what its purpose is, what its components are, and other components that will be important in terms of developing one. Over to you, Casimira. If Casimira is not here, maybe then I will give the word to Cornelius. Oh no, Casimira, you are here. I can see that you're here, but maybe she's having some difficulties with her internet. I can see that she's connected, but no microphone. As we wait for that, maybe Cornelius, as we wait for Casimira, technical issues, did you want to explain what the components of a microplan are? Cornelius Williams, if I can introduce you, was the former Global Director of Child Protection based in New York with over 35 years of experience in UNICEF. And one of his favorite topics is birth registration. Over to you, Cornelius.
Okay. So Casimira, sorry, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
While we wait for Casimira, I'll just say that actually that we have 7 components of the microplan template. And the 7 components are the background information for each council, then the situation analysis, the strategic framework for action, how prioritizing framework to show what you prioritize, the budget and resource plan, the monitoring and evaluation plan, and the reporting and achievement to show your achievement. Samira, let's check in with you again. I see you put yourself on mute. Can you speak, Samira? No? Okay. So let me just delve into the different aspects. Of course, the background information for each council. What council are we talking about? What's the details of the council, right? So that everybody would know, again, the different communes and council, what are we talking about? Then you do a situation analysis. The situation analysis, I hope each council would know the level of back registration coverage, right? That is, how many children have you registered for that year in your council area? How many children, what's the coverage, so usually we would have a denominator of the population in that area and the number of children that you have registered. I mean, some of it sometimes it's a bit of estimate and guesswork. Then you have, what are the challenges that you're facing in registering children in your council? I mean, what are the opportunities that you see in registering children in your council, right? So what are the challenges? What are the barriers? Is it distance? Is it logistics? Is it the fact that people are afraid to bring their children forward for registration? Is it that people are not aware of the registration, or you don't have enough staff, or you don't have enough supplies? So that's the situation analysis. Then we go to the stakeholder engagement, actually. I'm sorry. Then we go to the next thing is actually is the strategic framework. Okay. And definitely after you've done your situation analysis, you have to ensure that you engage with your stakeholders. Identify the key ways that you'll involve, such as your traditional leaders, your health workers, the NGOs, the community-based organizations in your area. In terms of the strategic framework, you have to define clear and measurable goals and activities. What are the activities that you want to carry out? Is it interoperability? Is it a campaign? Is it community engagement, going out to the communities and talking to them, right? What are the different things? Is it opening secondary registration sites? What are the different things that you would want to do actually? And you have to have an objective, objectives that you can measure, clear and objectives that you can measure. Then, of course, actually, you have to have the implementation plan, outline the timelines, the roles. You have to have your budget, and you have to be able to estimate categories and cost for the plan activities. I know we're going to cover that later, right? And then you have to have your monitoring and evaluation, and also you have to have your reporting, how you report the achievement, how you communicate progress to the stakeholders that I just spoke about that you need to engage with. So, I mean, these are how the different components fit together. It's a comprehensive approach to planning and implementation. Mia, do we continue to the next slide, or do we do some question and answer at this point?
No, I think we can already move on to the next slide. We leave the questions till the end of Paul. It worked very nicely last time. So now,
Okay.
in terms of the step-by-step guide to developing a micro plan, this was either for Casamida or for yourself to explain.
Okay, right. So first of all, as I said before, can we have the next slide? You have to do a situation analysis, right? And I've spoken about that. Okay, the back registration coverage, whatever barriers you have. So you have to carry that out, right? And it's simple. You look at whatever data you have on registration, right? And you then have to engage your stakeholders. Usually, the stakeholders start with the council members, as you know, talking to them, presenting the situation analysis to them, and working with them to define the strategic activities that you would do. The stakeholders would tell you about some of the challenges and some of the barriers, and they can help you to enhance and improve on your situation analysis. After you've defined your strategic activities, develop targeted activities, very clear activities such as awareness campaign or school-based registration, or as we have said, integration with the health system. Are you going to be doing registration during immunization? Are we going to be doing community awareness as well, community engagement? How are you going to do all that? You define those activities. Then you have to develop a budget. What is the cost of the community engagement? The travel cost. What is the cost actually to go to the school? What is the cost actually to do during the immunization? What is the cost to do any of the assessment? What is the cost to do the community engagement, going to the community and visiting these communities? You have to categorize these expenses. You have to identify potential funding sources. Then you have to create a monitoring and evaluation plan, establish indicators and data collection methods to track those indicators. How would you track the indicators if you are doing a school-based intervention? How many times do you go to the school? How many children did you cover in the school? If you're doing an immunization-based intervention, how many times did you accompany the immunization team? How many times actually, how many children did you cover during that immunization? And if you're doing community engagement, how many communities did you visit? How many people participated in the community engagement? Then you have to validate the plan with the stakeholders. We've spoken about the stakeholders. It is important that you take the stakeholders along with you, right? So that the stakeholders have a sense of ownership of this plan. And the stakeholders also start from the council members, traditional leaders, the community-based organization, the youth organization, and any other organization that you think has a critical role to play. Then you highlight, then you actually, if the plan has been approved, you have to know that actually this is not a linear process. You can have at the validation stage, they can inform you of things that are missing in the plan, and you would have to go back to the plan to create an M&E plan. Okay, sorry, to create strategic activities. And you would have to come back to the budget to put in budget lines that actually are linked to those activities. Next slide. Okay, so over to you, Mia.
Okay, so in terms of strategic activities, there are a number of strategic activities that all of the communes are already undertaking. What we've tried to do with Cornelis is to group these activities into 4 main activities. You can also have a 5th activity on digitalization. You can have a 6th activity on basic birth registration activities in terms of not interoperability, but what you're just doing on an everyday basis. But in terms of accelerating birth registration, these 4 strategies have been proven to be effective. So the first one is awareness raising. This can involve social media campaigns, local leader involvement, traditional leaders, even young people. We've seen in other communes, people have been involving young people. I can see that there's an Imbru that's drawing on the slides. If you could, I know it's a lot of fun. A lot of people like to do that to be interactive, but I think it's getting a little bit messy. So if maybe we can refrain from drawing on the slides. The second one that we can do is health integration. So this is interoperability with the health units. This can either be through at birth, doing awareness raising campaigns for mothers when they're coming in, and explaining them the importance of birth registration, doing it at birth, or also during vaccination campaigns. The third one is with interoperability through education. This is where if we haven't captured children before the legal deadlines, before the time we need to register them as newborns, then the next opportunity to catch up through birth registration is at school. Because at school, we're able to, it's compulsory, and here we're able to detect the number of children that don't have a birth certificate. So as you know, Ministry of Basic Education, with Mindevel, BUNEC, with the World Health Organization and UNICEF and other actors, implemented the special operation in March this year to do catch-up birth registration through the schools. And so this was a targeted initiative. Of course, this has already been ongoing in the past, but this was really a concentrated effort on children in the 6th grade to try and get them regularized and have birth certificates. So that's another opportunity, another strategic activity that you could undertake. And then the last one is, of course, decentralization. So that's about reaching the hardest to reach populations, those that are often left behind. And this is, of course, very important given the number of crises that Cameroon is confronted with at the moment, whether that be in the east with the Central African Republic refugees coming into Cameroon, whether that be in the far north or north with the border with Nigeria, or whether that be where most of you are based, I imagine, which is in the Anglophone part in the southwest, northwest. In terms of specific examples that we have, what we've done is hand-picked a number of examples that we're aware of. Of course, these are not representative of all 360 communes, but they are a few examples that we are trying to collect, and we will be developing a toolkit for mayors that we will be sharing with you the beginning of 2025. And these are just a handful of examples. And during this presentation, we would love to hear about examples that you're working on with these 4 strategies. So as I mention and go through some of these examples, you should probably already note some examples that you can also share based on the work that you're doing. I really love the example of Bua Town Council. This one is where the mayor specifically has a birth certificate ceremony. And with this birth certificate ceremony, he invites all the parents with their newborns to come to the town hall. And there's a ceremony and there's a photographer. It's put in the local newspaper, and it's a big celebration. And part of this celebration is really where the mayor takes the time to explain the importance of a birth certificate, and he encourages the families to also explain to their relatives, to their neighbors, the importance of a birth certificate. In this photo, you'll see a number, I think there are 10 religious leaders, and they're also working with Bua Town Council in terms of raising awareness in their own local communities, and they work very closely together to ensure that young parents are aware of their obligations and the importance of getting a birth certificate. Then in terms of health interoperability, as I already mentioned, here are a few examples that we were able to see in the information that you're actually uploading onto the central database as part of the Mayor's campaign. We know that the communes of Poli, Garua 2, 3, 1, Gide, Mayo Muscota, and Turua, they all are working very closely with the health units. And whether this is immediately after the delivery or whether this is during vaccination drives, these are all ways that we know are very effective of ensuring that children are registered as soon as possible from birth. As I said, this education one, I think it's really one of my favorites. And this is really important given that Cameroon has 1.4 million children in schools without a birth certificate. As you know, you need that birth certificate to sit the 6th grade exams. And without that birth certificate, it is a way that children may be excluded from continuing into secondary education. The example that we've chosen here in the photo you can see is that this is actually in a school in Douala 5, in Douala 5 Council. And here the mayor and also the people working in the council, the civil registrars, are going into the schools at drop-off times in the morning and also at pick-up times in the afternoon and also at lunchtime. And what they've got is they're making announcements. You can see the banners that they have in terms of detecting the number of children at school without a birth certificate, but also then giving them information about the steps that they need to implement to register their children. What I think is very encouraging is how closely the local commune is working with the school. And it's this partnership that has shown them that they've been able to regularize hundreds of children. I think the latest figures was about 600 children. And it's really been proven to be effective in terms of then working to get these mobile courts and to have these audiences for them, working to ensure that children after the legal deadline can be registered. Then in terms of decentralization, the case examples that I think are very helpful are these secondary registry points. Here there are 3 examples that I'd like to quickly mention. Here in Douala 2, in this council, you can see in this photo, this imam is also a civil registry officer, and so he's also registering children in his community, which is significant proportion of Muslim families. And it's very effective because he works closely with these families anyway in giving them counsel and giving them religious instruction. And at the same time, he is able to register their children. Then in the Southwest, in this TICO Council, what they're doing is they're actually working with the army to access their boats to go and then deliver mobile units, civil registration units in the creek areas, because these families are very, very secluded and cannot come to the TICO Council itself. So the TICO Council moves to them. Once or twice a year, they do a registration process with these communities, and it's been proven very effective. Then in the East, we have this Gado Secondary Civil Registration Centre, and this centre is being able to register children that are born in Cameroon that have Central African Republic origins. And so these are a number of examples, innovative ways that different communes are using services to reach the hardest to reach. And as I said, in about 15 minutes, we'd love to hear from you about the different activities that you're also undertaking. But of course, all these strategies need budget and local resources. And so this now moves us on to the second, the session 4, where we have the privilege of having Paul Mavi Petosh, which is the social policy, social protection chief in UNICEF, to explain to us and unpack for us how do we identify strategies, how do we identify resources to respond to these strategies that we're implementing. Over to you, Paul Mavi.
Yes, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you, Mia. So I'm about to talk about strategy to gathering resources and budgetization. So on the next slide, I think, yeah. That's the question we have to ask before developing a budget, before developing a microplans. What strategy will you use locally? I mean, there is different type of strategy. Maya just presented 4 types of strategy we can implement to improve the budget situation. And combine all this strategy depending on the needs of the field. And that's why you have to assess and anticipate the barrier to address this barrier. I mean, you know your area, you know the municipality, so you know where we have more challenging area in terms of local registration. Maybe in some villages you have indigenous people, and you know the people regularly services. So in some areas you have systems could be just provide secondary registration services in hospital, for instance. So depending on these needs, you will develop a dedicated budget. So it depends kind of from your needs. So it can be 2 pages. Given the need you can observe the field, you will be able to, list the different type of activities. So on the next slide, you will have an example of different type of budgetization. Of different type of activities you will have to budget. So I don't know if we will see the next slide, but it doesn't appear on my side, so maybe Mia, if it's okay on your
I've
side.
moved. It is. I think you might be frozen, but I have moved on. Or maybe it's just we can't hear you very well. I think the internet is not working so well, so it's. I think we're only catching like maybe 1 in 10 sentences. I'm thinking that maybe, do you want to try again? And if it doesn't work, maybe we move on until the internet comes back in terms of stability.
On that side, we have different type of activities, and we can combine it the different activity depending on the strategies you mentioned, you presented before. So for community engagement, it can be used for the mobile registration system. It can be used for you need to understand that so you need to get the fees of costs for each activities. It will be the same for trainings. If you feel you need to train your community agent or maybe municipality agent, you have to cost this intervention in the plan. I can also present the secondary registration points, so it can involve different costs in terms of equipments, in terms of staff. If you want to set up a new service, it will imply infrastructure. And for different type of costs, you can find resources in different sources. Of course, for training, you can find partners interesting to contribute to the funding of the training, for materials as well. But you should also think about how you can maintain, you can have a sustainable way of financing. In that sense, that's why I advocate to have a line in the budget. Every year you will proceed to a new budget for the next year. So maybe now in December, there's time to think about that. And the micro plan could help you to assess the overall amount of the costs you will need to integrate in the communal budget. Of course, you can also have the FACOM, which is very interesting. You want to build a new room or to renovate the city hall. So that's the type of example you can have. So it's a process. As mentioned by Cornelius and Mia, it's a process. Given the situation, given the knowledge of you have in terms of birth registration in your municipality, you can have different strategy, and these different strategy include actions, interventions, training, transport, materials, and you have to cost this different type of intervention and include it in the micro plan, and of course the best way is to include in the municipal plan. Thank you.
Thanks, Paul. That was very clear. And now moving on to how do we actually integrate these plans into the communal and local budgets, because there will be a overall communal budget that each commune works with. And so, Paul, if you could give us a bit of insight into this, that would be great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mentioned the best way is to include the intervention, I mean the cost of this intervention in the communal plan. So for now, we push to develop a micro plan because it's very focused on birth registration, depending on the strategy you want to implement. So, but you know better than us that in terms of planning, budgeting, you have the communal development plan elaborated for some years, and you have to renew it regularly. So if you want to have a strategic vision of what you want to do in terms of birth registration, I think if you have the opportunity in the coming months to develop the development the communal development plan, that could be now the time to include the birth registration. A good vision in terms of also, every year you have the communal budget, and now in December the municipal council will probably meet to define what will be the budget for 2025, and that's in that sense we advocate that you can integrate in we have two options. The first option is to cost the microplan now. But if you want to, sustain this type of activities, it's not a matter of months. We know that it's a matter of years. So maybe putting a clear line in the municipality budget could help you to define what are the needs, but also it will be a good signal for partners. And so maybe we can have that in this next slide. If you, as a local government, if you are to take but we know the municipality have no lot of resources, local resources. So you have to count on partners and ministries. And after as I said, and I say again, try to invest. To invest in long term through the communal budget and through the communal the communal development plan. I already said that about before. Different type of categories, but it's very for financial. Financial staff. It's very easy to understand that if, of course, you have an intervention and you have a different type of cost. This is the nomenclature of the budget process. Yes, if you have clear goals, in terms of in the development communal plan, it will start monitoring and evaluation process. We have already observed interesting improvement in terms of birth registrations in the beginning of the mining time. So you are comfortable now with the I go to the next speaker to talk about that. Thank you.
Thanks for that, Paul Madi. That was a fantastic explanation of how to do budgeting for microplans and the necessity of that and the importance of that. So as we've seen so far, Cornelius explained to us the importance of doing a situation analysis, identifying the needs of each commune. Then we talked about what kind of strategies we can use or implement to accelerate birth registration. And now we've spoken about budgeting for microplans because we need to resource that. We need to fund it. We can't just do it without any resources. But in terms of once we've got a budget, what we need to do then is we need to monitor and evaluate. Are the strategies we're chosen, are they actually working once we've implemented them? What kind of obstacles are we facing? How can we know that they're working in terms of indicators? And to do this, I give the floor over to Casimir Bench, the Chief of Child Protection at UNICEF, to explain the monitoring and evaluation.
Hello, do you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you.
Now it's good. Okay, thank you, Mia. Concerning monitoring evaluation, as Mia said, monitoring evaluation plans are essential component of successful planning, as you know. So we prepared a model of the plan, a template, using the different experiences that are ongoing in the country, but using also as a reference the mayor charter and the roadmap. So we have a template that we will share with you, and you will see in that template depend the reality of your municipality, depend of the intervention that you will choose. But it's really important to have the monitoring and evaluation component of the plan that with the clear indicators who you will use to confirm or to share, to measure if you are on track on the implementation of the plan. But you must also have credible sources to allow you to have evidences of the progress. So the photo that we showed before, you can share with you an example of a kind of a source that we can use to elaborate or implement your monitoring evaluation plan. So you must define also what data collection, the data collection method, how you can who you use, and the frequency of you have to collect the information that concerning the indicators. So you can decide if you collect the information or each month or each 3 months, or depend of you. As this is a plan that you can develop a plan for 1 year or 2 years, but it's important you to define the indicator, the method of collection, the source of information, and the frequency that you can use, that you can have to collect the information. But other element important is who is responsible to collect this information or to share and to give this source. It is really important to you to have this in your part of the monitoring and evaluation plans. As we mentioned, we will share with you all these documents, and you will easily use for prepare your MNE, as we say, monitoring and evaluation plan. Over to you.
Thank you, Casimira, for explaining the
Another-
importance of that, monitoring and evaluation. And now we turn to, once you've monitored and you look at and you evaluate, it is very, very important to also report your achievements.
Yes.
So, Cornelius, did you want to explain the importance of reporting achievements?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes. You cannot have done, you can't do all this work and not be proud of your achievement. You have to be able to report on your achievements. And Casimira has spoken to me about several portals, but as part of the micro plan, you have to inform the stakeholders and the communities of what you have achieved. As Casimira has said, you have all these indicators that you need to report on the progress. So you can talk about the number of children that you have registered, all the different activities. Paul spoke to some of it, actually the budget and everything that you've done. If you're able to report on your achievement, you're going to build trust in the implementation process by everybody who's working on this issue and with all the stakeholders. You would also be able to show the stakeholder that actually you believe in accountability. You can use success story to also secure additional resources. So in terms of the reporting area, actually, first you have to make sure when you're reporting, it is aligned to the government development goals. It's aligned to the goals in your commune, in your councils. Okay, as I said, you have to show how it's aligned and actually how you're going to be able to what you've been able to achieve. You also have to show, again, as we have said, because Samira spoke about the metrics of progress, the number of community activities, the new registration points, the number of children you registered, the success stories, the examples of what your community has been able to achieve. I mean, I think you should be proud to report these achievements. Back to you, Mia.
Thanks, Cornelius. We're now coming to the part of questions and answers. But before we come to the part of questions and answers, what I found personally very encouraging was in the last session that we did with your French counterparts, was that we've been explaining to you different examples that we're aware of in terms of the 4 strategies, in terms of budgeting. We'd love to hear from the different councils that are present today. To do that, what we'd ask you to do is raise your hand. There's a function at the bottom. There's a hand function, and then you can press it, and then I can see who would like to take the floor, because I can see that there are a number of councils like Nidu, Jakiri Council, Zoa Council. I can see that there are quite a few councils that are NECO. Would colleagues be interested in explaining 1 or 2 strategies that you're using to accelerate birth registration in your municipalities? We'd love to hear from you. Because we did observe quite a few fantastic examples in Limbe, also in Tiko, and also Buya Town, but that's only a few of the Anglophone local communities, so we'd love to hear from you. Maybe I put you on the floor and ask different ones to explain. I can give you the floor if you don't know how to put your hand up. ACO Council, I think that you would be great. ACO, from ACO Council, did you want to explain some of your work? I can see that someone's trying to help you activate your sound. It's at the bottom on the left. Or maybe while we're waiting, maybe Godric, would you like to explain some of your activities? It's a bit of a shame. I know ACO Council is really trying. ACO Council, if you look at your screen and on the very left of your screen at the bottom, it's the bottom on the left that you can press, and then that will activate your microphone. If not, Nasala Kenneth, would you like to? Because I saw before you were already speaking before at the beginning of the session. So you know how to activate. Thank you, Nasala Kenneth.
Thank you very
Can you
much,
let us know where
Salah
you're
Kenneth.
from?
I am speaking from Ndu Council.
Excellent. Welcome. Can you give
Ndu
us
is
one or
in
two
Donga Manton
examples?
Division. Ndu is in Donga Manton Division. And we've been observing with a lot of gratitude the activities of BUNEC and UNICEF in other councils. All this while you've been mentioning Limbe, Tiku, Buya, and I want to wonder why BUNEC and UNICEF has not found time to come over to Ndu to see what they are doing. So that is a worry. Thank you.
Thank you for that. I don't think it should be a worry, Nasla Kenneth, because we're still collecting and centralizing. It's all the information that people have uploaded onto this database. So, and we've only given a few examples. It's also because most recently we were able to go and do some work there, but we'd love to hear from you now. This is your opportunity now to explain some of the work that you're doing in your municipality. Have you been able to work in some of the schools or in some of the hospitals?
Exactly. At the beginning of this academic year, the mayor of Ndu Council wrote a letter to the inspector of basic education, in which letter he expressed his desire to see that by the end of this first term.
Yep. Sorry, I was just going to ask Dan to turn off his microphone, but now continue. Sorry, because we couldn't hear you very well. But Nasla, it's okay. You can continue. Sorry. You were saying that
thank you.
You got a letter. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yes, so I was saying that at the beginning of this academic year, the mayor of Ndu Council wrote a letter to the inspector of basic education, in which he expressed the wish to see that during their council meetings, they should ensure that statistics of children without birth certificates are presented, because each school council has a member of the council, Ndu Council, that is a counselor that has been assigned to that institution. So during each school council session, the councillors are invited, and one of the objectives of the council is to ensure that the councillors come out with a list of those children who do not have birth certificates. And when we have the list, we now seek for funds to ensure that the children are given free birth certificates. And that is what we have been doing. Ndu subdivision has Ndu Council has 6 secondary civil status centers with 6 active secondary civil status secretaries. And they are also assigned to the local health centers within their various areas of jurisdiction. So every time they go to the hospital to see how many children have been born within that period and encourage their parents to come immediately to effect the production of their birth certificates. and especially during immunization periods, and when they go for, when the hospitals or the health centers, they arrange for prenatal clinics when the hospital staff are expected to talk to the mothers or pregnant women. So the civil status secretaries also, they move to these hospitals, and then they talk to the parents and would-be parents about the importance of birth certificates. So this, in a nutshell, is some of the few things that we do.
Fantastic.
It will interest you
Yeah.
to know that
Sorry,
Ndu
Nasla.
subdivision is very insecure. I say so because you mentioned the idea of moving out to the communities. It is a very good idea, but I want to assure you that not every area is safe enough for council workers to move out and encourage parents to register their children for these birth certificates. So that is one of the difficulties we have in Ndu. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Nasla, for that excellent summary of the work that you're doing, and I'm sure you're doing even more than what you've been able to share now. What I'd like to do is give the word to Kimeng, to other people that have raised their hands, just so that we're conscious of time. If everybody could limit themselves to maybe one or two examples so that everybody gets an opportunity, because I see that there are about at least 35 councils that are represented on this call today. And so if we could give everybody an opportunity to speak, that would be fantastic. Levi Fongen, Neba, did you want to speak? Because I think I saw your hand raised before. Yep, go for it, Levi. You can speak, Levi. You just have to unmute yourself again, which is the button on the left.
Good afternoon.
Excellent. Good afternoon, Levi.
Yes, I'm Mr. Levi Fongen, the Regional Chief of BNEC Northwest.
Great to have you with us.
Okay, sorry, I'm signing in late. I had other issues that held me behind. I want to thank God I've been able to join. And I just want to react a bit, started by congratulating Ndu Council to say that they are one of the two councils that have created a subdivisional platform to register children with that birth certificate. At least I'm proud of Ndu and Santa. These are the two major councils that have fulfilled that indicator. However, he did mention about security challenge, which is very true. I must say so because in the last visit that we went out, we to visit some councils. So I want to plead to some of the mayors that I was supposed to visit 17 councils, but I went up to 20. I included 3 others, Jakiri, Oku, and Kumbo, at least trying to close the gap. But I want to equally apologize to people in Ndonga Mantum. That initially the division of Ndonga Mantum was earmarked, but because of the heavy rains, I could not make the trip. So we just hope that maybe before the end of the 31st of March, we should be able to come through Oku, Ako, Nwa, Nkambe, and Ndu.
Okay, thanks for that, Levi.
Yes.
Let's turn over to some other councils then. That's great to have BNEC participate and explain some of the challenges they're facing in supporting the councils. Kimeng, Wandim Rudolph, did you want to also speak? Over to you. I can see that you're trying. You can see the button on the left at the bottom. If you turn that on, then you should be able to speak. As we wait for Kimeng Wandim, is there another commune that would like to speak? Godric, I ask you again. Did you want to speak? No? You do. I can see you're smiling. Go for it, Godric. Turn on your sound. No? Okay. I don't want to put you on the spot. Maybe Yvette Mambo? I can see two people have lifted their hands. Kimeng, I know that you can, but it's a bit tough for you at the moment because I can see that it's not working. I also see David Nado or Joanne Lionga. Did you want to explain some of your work, Joanne, from Bua Town? Or Shang Immaculate? Or Gina Moniz? Or Andec Council? Please feel free to explain, share your examples. It's really it's the moment, or even challenges that you might be facing. I can see that Kimeng, he really still wants to speak. Bunek Southwest. Go for it, Bunek Southwest.
All right. Good afternoon, Mia.
Good afternoon. It's nice to see you again.
Oh, same here. It's a great initiative having this meeting, and congratulations on the efforts after your field visit. Okay. I would talk on behalf of, I'm sure you can get me 515. Hello?
Yep, we can
Can I
hear you.
Okay. I will talk on behalf especially of those who are not able to connect. We have been having connectivity issues, network issues. So some councils wishing to connect, even I just received a call from one of the councils, Tico now. They are unable to connect. So work has been going on in some of the councils, especially FACO, Division of the Southwest, and the mayors are engaging themselves. The postponement of the date was a very laudable initiative. It is very good because some were just getting into understanding of the whole campaign, of the whole challenge, and are ready to make efforts. There are also some who have integrated civil status as part of their budget, especially as most councils are getting into their sessions. So those are efforts that they have been putting in. Some have created civil status offices in health facilities. And if we talk about the law which is being reviewed in Parliament, and even today afternoon, the new law on civil status, it has a space for those special registries that will be created in health facilities. So it is good some mayors have already taken the initiative to create those, and there is a result. It is reducing work from the councils and increasing registration for people that are putting to bed in those health facilities. They have also carried out sensitization, awareness raising campaigns in the markets, the community, and the health facility. Well, because of time, these are just a few that we can signal for on behalf of the councils, the municipalities of the Southwest region. I'm sure those maybe who are connected that I can see could also give a word on that. Thank you very much.
Thanks for that. It's fantastic to have the Bunek Regional Office with us today. They're really working very closely with the different municipalities in the Southwest region, and we can see the fruit of that collaboration, dealing with not only birth registration in a normal time, but also in a crisis situation. What we saw was really innovative ways to be able to do it in a way that doesn't put the different mayors in danger, but that they can continue to register children. And so given what Bunek regional officers just said, would some of the other councils like to give some specific examples of the work that they're doing. Kemenji Novel, Nudo David, and the council. I'm just looking through. Please don't be shy. Oh, and I can see City Mayor Limbe. Limbe, you can speak. David Mafani, would you like to speak, please? And also Joanne from Bua Town Council. You guys have got some fantastic practices, but you don't feel like sharing them. I don't think I can force anyone to share their examples. So because people are a bit shy, it's okay. There will be another opportunity to share your, oh, okay. Tico, great. Tico Council, do you want to speak, Tico? If you just unmute yourself, then you can speak. It's just on the bottom on the left. It's your microphone. You have to just turn it off, turn it back on.
Okay.
Excellent.
Good afternoon, Mia.
Good afternoon.
Can you get me?
Yeah, we can hear you perfectly.
All right. Thank you. My name is Eri Tatasin, the Secretary General of Tico Council. I see my mayor was trying to connect to no avail. So I said, let me step in. Kimen Windim Rudolph has been the focal point. That's the full deputy mayor for Tico Council, who has been updating, uploading information on the platform. I think since we are sharing experience, I just want to say our regional chief of BUNEC has given a summary. I just want to add for the practical example on what Tico Council has been doing. You must have seen on the platform that Tico Council went right to the labor room. We have a common platform where all our health facilities are connected there. We did that, they sent us the declarations, and on this special My Name campaign, we decided to go closer to the ladies' right at the level of the labor room. So we have a connection with all the health facilities. Once a woman goes in labor, we go around, we pay a visit, we make sure she's in order, and if every other thing has been put in place, if like the spouse is there or the husband is there, or any person that is taking care, we've tried to find out if they already have an idea on the name of the child, so that it is easier for us to establish a document of the child 24 hours after the child is born. Which so far so good. Tico Council has successfully done that with the Baptist Hospital here in Mutengene. And after 24 hours, we have images of that, I think, which has been uploaded on the platform. Birth certificates were issued to mothers right there in the hospital before they were leaving the hospital. They left the hospital with children's birth certificate. I think it was very exciting. It was a good experience for them. They were like in a dream world, you know. They could not imagine that this campaign and such thing can actually happen in Cameroon, and more especially in Tico, where we told them it is their right. It is your place for a child to have the birth certificate 24 hours after the birth. We just need to have an effective communication platform where the birth is declared to us on time and we issue them. We observed that most of the times we decided to choose Bingo because it's like a reference hospital. Most of the women that give birth there in Bingo, they come from out of town, from different cities, far off. Maybe some live right from Manfe, some live from Boyalimbe. They come and have their babies there. When they go back, before you know it, it's only after 3 months that they realize that they have to come and do a birth certificate. Then it's already late. They have to pass through a court judgment, which is not still bad. So we're just trying to reduce that time frame and to go closer to them, to give them that opportunity to meet them right at the hospital and in the labor room to start the process. So once a child is born and identified 24 hours, we issue the birth certificate. So far, so good. That is what Tico Council has been doing. Tico Council also has issued to primary school children within Tico municipality. We issued 200 birth certificates from last week, which has been issued. So far, so good with the campaign. I think Tico is on track and they are so excited. The population too, they are so happy. You can see a sigh of relief and like they are coming out like a dream that has come to reality. So we just want to truly appreciate. It is true that we have some challenges. We have challenges like we mentioned on the platform where you go, the child is there, the child can have the birth certificate, but unfortunately, maybe the parents, they are not yet ready to give a name to that child. They say it is a whole ceremony. They have to go back home. They think of a name and it's a whole naming ceremony. And all of this, it takes time. Before you know it, 3 months has elapsed and they end up not having birth certificate for those children. So those are some of the few challenges that we've had in the field. And we also had the challenge of some mothers not allowing the child's father's name to feature in the birth certificate, maybe because they don't even want the child to be identified with that kind of father, which we try to let them know that it is a right for each child to have a father. And when you get to that stage, it is also difficult for them to give us a name so we can use it to issue the birth certificate. So those are just some of the few examples I can quote for Tico Council. Thank you, and we hope we are going to do more with the support of UNICEF and UNICEF to combat these birth certificate issues in Tico municipality. Thank you.
Thank you, Secretary General from Tico Council, for this the excellent work that you're doing, and just the good news that it is having this effect on the community. I see that Joanne Leonga from Buba Town Council might also like to explain some of the work that they're doing, and we'll end on Joanne because I see that we're running out of time, and because we're based in Switzerland, I promise that we will keep our timing just like a Swiss train. Joanne, do you want to explain some of the work that you guys are doing?
Good afternoon to everyone. Please, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, Joanne.
All right, thank you so much. I want to first of all appreciate UNICEF and UNIC for this wonderful, laudable initiative to combat the issue of identification in our various communities. First of all, after the meeting was held, the mayor came back. We were trying to see how we can strategize to make sure this worked perfectly. After then, we then had this stakeholders meeting on the 24th of October. That was so encouraging because all of the stakeholders representing the various sectors were there. So we know that via that advocacy meeting, it really yielded a lot of fruits, and is still going to yield a lot of fruits because so many people are informed. Then we also started our sensitization with health facilities because that is where it all begins from birth. If we can really target health facilities, then we'll realize that in years to come, or why not by mid next year, we'll see an increase of birth registration within our municipality. We had to visit a whole lot of health facilities to sensitize them, and most especially thanking the doctors, the chief of post that could give us the opportunity to meet the parents one-on-one so that we can explain to them the importance of identifying a child. And they all were so happy. They did not really believe that this could happen in our municipality, whereby we come to them, we explain to them how this is very important for our children. And also, we had to help some of them to fill the birth declaration form. We helped them, we had to work with them. Those who could not give names, we still had to collect their declaration because a child must be identified with or without a name at that particular time. A name can come because some cultures, they give names maybe after 2-3 days. So we had to encourage them. For those who do not want the father's name to feature. A child has a right to know the father. So we had to encourage them to give the father's name for those who could really give at that time, and then encourage them also for recognition. And then later on, we had to do a distribution of 100 birth certificate, whereby the ceremony was graced by the evaluation team that came from UNICEF Yaoundé. And after that, we had to also, I've written a proposal letters to the mayor that is on his table. He's still looking on them, whereby he's going to give us that opportunity to continue with our sensitization campaign to schools, to our communities, to chiefdoms, to meet them right at that local level, so that every child in the Boya municipality is identified, and then having a community where everyone has that right of services, health services, financial services, and all the like. So I would like to end here for now, and I say a very big thank you for this wonderful initiative. We'll put more as we are having UNICEF. They have given us time to make sure we do more and more activities to combat this issue of identification, especially with birth in our municipality. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Joanne. So Joanne is the head of the Civil Registration Office at Bua Town, which brings us now to the end of our session today. This will be the section of closing and next steps. And for this, I'd like to hand the floor over to Casimira Bench, UNICEF Child Protection, Chief of Child Protection, to explain where we'll be heading now following this training. Casimira, over to you.
Yeah, okay. Thank you, Mia. Thank you, all the participants, for the engagement, for the interventions. So we will share with you, as I mentioned before, we will share with you all the documentation, all the information concerning this webinar. So as you will see, and I also mentioned, you will receive a template with all the information. Advantage of this your realities. We can choose the interventions according to your situation analysis, according to what you are doing now. But the most important is to have this as a tool, as a reference, because we use also the mayor chart and roadmap to prepare this template, including the best practice that we have in other municipalities. And we try to have a harmonized set of harmonized microplans at the local level. So use this for your exercise at local level, and take the opportunity now this this is really our objective, is to share all this information, to work with you now, to give you the tools to facilitate your work, to prepare the plans, and you can have time to include in your budget for 2025 the funds for implementation. Of course, when you will prepare the plan, we will identify other partners, and you can also ask support for other partners like FACOM, like other actors from the the UN, United Nations, or the other partners to support you in the implementation of the plans, to give you the funds for implementation of local plans. But the principal objective is to have the plan and to have a budget also at the local budget to implement. The other thing that we can share with you is in January, at the end of January, we try to do a presential meeting. So it's important to have a plan. The municipalities who will participate will be the municipalities that had prepared the plans. You know, you must have a plan to be selected to participate in the presential activity in January, where we can discuss a little bit more on in terms of implementation, the challenge to implement these plans, or what is the next steps. As we informed with the letter from UNICEF representative to the all mayors that we shared in the WhatsApp group, the campaign was postponed to to April. So the end of campaign is the date of end of the campaign is 31st of March, and we will announce the results in the week of 26th of April. So to this date, you have a time to implement, to accelerate the implementation. And please occasion of the first anniversary of the forum, and we will evaluate the outcomes and announce the 10 most successful municipalities. And we need your monthly reports with the supporting evidences. Otherwise, you will not be evaluated because we don't have information from you. So till April, please implement the activities and send us the monthly reports that we can see how the progress are in your municipalities. And please remember that the elaboration microplan with the budget is one of the important indicator. So take this opportunity. We'll share all the tools with you. Take this opportunity to prepare these plans and to budget to adopt, to prepare a small budget and I also take the opportunity to thank child identity protection, Dia and Cornelius, and all other colleagues, but all the BUNEC regional directors who are who take an important role to Thank you.
Thanks,
Mia,
Casimira.
to you.
I see that we have Madam Eliane Effa from BUNEC that's available. Thank you, Madam Effa, for joining us again for the English version of the training. We just did exactly the same thing that you already participated in French, but it would be great for the participants to hear from you at a central level. Madam Effa is from BUNEC, based in Yaoundé. Thanks, Madam Effa. Over to you.
Thank you very much, Mia. Good afternoon to all participants. We have just attended the training, our training session on drawing of microplans. This session is part of the continuity of the action that began with the first Forum of Mayors on birth registration, which brought together all the mayors of Cameroon. This training will enable you, mayors, to draw up a roadmap for birth registration activities, integrate them into local development plans, and provide better support for your activities. The training comes at a time when budgets are being drawn up in the council. This is an opportunity to capitalize on this training to speed up birth registration. This is very important for the children of Cameroon. I thank you for your participation. I take this opportunity to express our gratitude for your efforts, and I want to underline that BUNEC is at your side to help you capitalize on this training. I would also like to thank UNICEF for its continued support. That is all I want to share with you at this session. Thank you.
Thanks, Madam Effa. It's really important to have BUNEC as an important key partner in terms of birth registration in Cameroon. It's also great, as Casimira said, in terms of next steps. The next steps are really that the microplans, a link will be shared with you all, which will have the PowerPoints on it. It will have the microplans, a template for the microplans, and it will also have the recordings. So these can be shared at a regional level, at a local level. These can be disseminated, can be listened to when your internet access is maybe better, or when you have more time as well, or even over the Christmas period if you have free time. But we're really excited to see this fantastic work that's been undertaken by the mayors, your engagement, the political will to tackle this issue and to ensure that every child has a birth certificate is really one of the promising practices in the world. So thank you for that, and hope you have a good rest of the week. Goodbye.
All the participants are invited to put your names in the chat, please. Will you continue to put your names in chat, names and functions? Thank you.
So we won't turn off the chat until I'll leave it on for another 10 minutes to give everybody an opportunity that hasn't put in their name, function and commune in the chat, because it's really important for us to know which communes were able to participate and which ones we need to target in terms of disseminating this information if it hasn't reached them yet.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody.
So remembering everyone, the chat function is at the very bottom. It's the middle button of your screen and it says chat. Excellent. So we just had Bamenda 3 there, Abua Council. Fantastic, Joanne. And everybody else, if everybody else can also continue to add your names as well. Thank you. And once that's done, you can continue with your other busy work that you must have at the moment.
Hey, my daughter. How are you, Mom? How are you, my dear? Oh, my